Woo! We might have in 5 minutes, a little bit of wait for the good things. And today I'm here with Cristina Borrero, an international nutritional therapist, and myself, Ramo Corazon. And here is Think Corazon. We're talking about mindful eating and how to get our body. This is going to be a series of lives that we're going to be doing on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. The UK, and 9 p.m. in Spain and in La Península. Because when we talk about the Canary Islands, it's just,
Yeah.
pues, Guanacares. And we are aiming to do these every Tuesdays in English and then every Fridays at the same time, just in Spanish. And so I am gonna get the chat away. I see that there's three people connected with us live, which makes me very, very happy. So please leave us a comment right now and let us know from where are you tuning in. And if you have any questions for Christina or for myself, today is the day to ask us live. We're putting our most vulnerable selves and our authentic knowledge out there to really support everybody in our communities. Just to give you an idea before getting into Christina, I've been losing over 100 pounds over COVID, and since 2013, I've been in, up and down. I've had two kids, and I contact Christina to kind of give me some guidance as a professional because I've been tackling the mindset and getting to lose a lot of weight and learning all these hidden loyalties that I have with my family. And since I've met Christina, we've been having very interesting conversations. And so today is the day that we're going live, and this is the beginning of a huge, exciting adventure for the four of us. And so, anything that you want to share with us, Christina? Because you are in Ireland,
In
guys.
Ireland. I am, yeah. And I'm really super excited to be here with you, Almo. You know that. Yeah, I think this can be a really nice opportunity to see women health from a different perspective. And I think that's really needed nowadays, since there is a lot of confusion, as we've been talking a lot about. Women, they don't know what to do or what to listen to, or we are really confused. And I think it's really important to go a little bit deeper into these subjects. And I'm really excited to be doing this with you every Tuesday and every Friday in Spanish. I really hope my English is good enough, because I have a weird mix, like Irish, English, and Spanglish. So I really hope it's fine. And yeah, I cannot wait. So yeah.
So how would you describe mindful eating? Because I have some people that I sent a message to remind everybody that we're going live today, and
Cool.
some people have been sharing with me about intuition,
Mm-hmm.
eating. And so well. You already know my thoughts. I'm not just gonna disclose them today. I would love to go, progressively let everybody who are watching get to know me. But as a professional on the field, Christina, how are you defining mindful eating, and what is the difference between mindful eating and intuitive eating?
Cool. So they are quite different things, first of all, but let's try to define what mindful eating is. Mindful means just connecting with the thing, whatever thing that you are doing. So you can be mindfully walking, or mindfully working, or mindfully cooking, or whatever thing that you are doing in the right moment, in the present moment, let's say. So you are doing something, and you are doing it with all your heart and with all your senses put into that activity that you are performing. You can be, as I said, you can be cooking, and that means that you are cooking and you are chopping all the things, and you are thinking what you're doing, and you are present with that activity. So that if you translate that into mindful eating, for instance, then you would be thinking about what you are eating, connecting with your body, listening to the signals that the process of eating is telling you. Also, seeing, watching the thing that you are gonna eat, sensing, like with the different senses that we have, the taste, also the touch of the food, the temperature, the textures. If you are chewing something, if you are swallowing something, and you are connecting with all those experiences and phenomenal senses that food, the act of eating provides us. And that would be mindful eating. And then intuitive eating is a whole different story. When we are talking about intuitive eating, we are thinking more on a way to eat. It's kind of confused with a diet, with a kind of a diet. Um, and I think that's also a bad thing. That's a mistake, because we cannot differentiate between. I mean, we need to differentiate between diet and intuitive eating, because what is behind the concept of intuitive eating is that your body is in tune with their needs, and then following this, you will be able to make adequate and appropriate choices in order to feed yourself in the way that your body wants to be fed. But
Hmm.
that's a little bit tricky, because for many people, they don't have the connection with their bodies and their needs. And that can lead to wrong patterns of eating, and actually disordered eating. And I know that you know a lot about those things, and I would love to hear your input in this, because that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I think, well, now we have four people, so I want to invite them to leave a comment to let us know, have you practiced mindful eating? Have you practiced intuitive eating? What are your thoughts? What are your experiences? And for me, hearing you and having experienced this, I've realized that when we go into intuitive eating, our connection is perceived from our brain and not so much from our deeper self of like sensorial state of mind, right?
Yeah.
And when we do intuitive eating, we kind of like let our family and society hidden loyalties
Hmm.
to drive our stimulus, right? And to drive our ways to choose, is this good for me, is this not, our gut feeling, right? Sometimes we
Exactly.
feel we have a strong gut feeling, we have a strong internal voice, it tells us what to do and how to do it, and I am following, which is amazing because that's the way to practice and that's the way to improve our connection with our gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
The reality is through eating, there's so many things that are tied to our upbringing, how we've been treated when we were a child, what are we being exposed to, our emotions, our hormone imbalances, right? And so
Exactly.
there's so many hidden things that it feels that the moments that I've been experiencing it, it's like putting myself at risk of not knowing what I don't know, like what I don't know, right? And
Yeah.
so, but we don't know that we know. And so, if I do intuitive eating with a professional that tells me based on my analytics or whatever it is, that's kind of like a fun game to, an adventure. If I'm
Mm.
doing it by myself, I agree with you that it opens the possibility of eating disorders, of binging eating, of not eating enough, of
Yeah.
having lack of, vitamins or things that put in risk, and especially for those who have, you know, you know, gave birth or who are looking to give birth or get
Yeah.
pregnant,
Hmm.
um, damn, like please don't follow intuitive eating. Like get mindful on this, and today is the time to perhaps the new beginning, right?
Exactly. I think that the main difference between the two concepts is that you take full responsibility when you are doing mindful eating.
Hmm.
Whereas when you are doing intuitive eating, you can be confused. Let's say confused, because as you said, like we have a lot of interferences, around, and those interferences, they disconnect us from our body and our body's signals. And we need to be in tune with our body in order to do properly intuitive eating. And I think that's huge, and that leads to a lot of confusion, and as you said, even to nutritional deficiencies, hormonal disbalances, stress, because in the end, the mere act of eating is a stressful act if we are not choosing the right food. So that can be putting a burden of stress into our well-being, and that is impacting as well our health, and that is maybe aggravating a nutritional deficiency, maybe a condition, maybe you start sleeping bad, and you try to convince yourself that you are doing the right thing because you are listening to your body's needs. But those needs actually can be wrong because your body has other needs at that moment. Maybe your body is aching for vitamin C or for energy, and then you have cravings, but then you are unable to tune with those cravings, and then you choose the wrong things, and then a cycle starts.
That's very interesting. Like, so how can we get to know our body? What are like the triggers or like red flags that we can see? Okay, if there's something is going on with me, because one of like the easiest ways, let's say, it's about sleeping. If we have anxiety or we have challenges to fall asleep, or if we get very tired throughout the day and we're like, oh my god, I need a nap all the time, and our levels of energy are so, it feels like so low, and we depend on energetic, drinks or coffee or stimulants, right?
Mm-hmm.
These things are an easy trigger. Like we know there's something going on. But what is something? What are other things? Because, for example, like now I'm tuning into my mom or my grandmother telling me about my nails. Like I don't have my nails. I didn't paint my nails. I'm like, is this white in the middle of my nail? Something good? Am I lacking something? So,
Mm-hmm.
what are the things that you can share with us as a professional?
Of course. So there are quite a few, to be honest. As you said, it's really important to take a look at our structures, like hair and nails. They are really interesting signals. Like if you see that your nails are broken easily, that's a sign that you may have a nutritional deficiency. Also, your hair can become thin, weak, debilitated. Those are pale, even pale. Those are signs that you may be lacking some nutrients. Your skin, same thing. When you are stressed, for instance, you are depleting vitamin C and collagen. That's why your skin looks pale and dull, and your skin cracks easily. Those are signs that you may be in need of antioxidants, polyphenols.
How about the Rosalea? Rosalia? I don't know how to say it.
No,
Yeah. When you get rose, like when you get pain.
rosacea. Yeah,
Rosacea. Okay.
yeah,
Ah, you see,
yeah.
Stanley.
Yeah, that's the advantage. Yeah, feel your pain. So yeah, rosacea is a really interesting skin condition, and it may have an autoimmune trigger. So autoimmune means that your body is attacking your own cells for some reason. Sometimes it's simply a process of confusion in your body. So your body may be reacting to something, but those things may be really similar to your own proteins, and that's why your body attacks your own proteins, because it gets confused, because the trigger is really similar to your own structure. That happens a lot, for instance, with Hashimoto thyroiditis, which is really common as well nowadays in women, in reproductive age women. Those are autoimmune conditions. If you want, we can talk about autoimmunity, because that's really common as well in another life.
I was.
And coming back to rosacea, yeah, that can be an autoimmune condition, as I said, just like eczema and psoriasis, and those have like a broader, let's say, treatment or way of dealing with them.
Looking
You
at it,
know,
yeah. Like it got me into thinking about the stress. Like the stress really impacts these like flares of reactions in our skin, and that our skin is a great indicator of our health. That we
yeah,
really don't pay much attention. Well, not. I don't want to, you know, generalize, but normally we're like, oh, it's cold. That's why we have, cracked skin and that. But do something about it, because then it gets worse,
yeah,
right?
100%. And actually, like our skin is the first line of defense that we have against the environment. So
Hmm.
we need to nurture our skin. And as you said, it's a super clear sign that something is going wrong. And you can experience that just like this. So then we need to nurture and look after our skin from the inside and also from the outside. And from the outside as well, we need to pay attention to the things that we are using, our cosmetics, hygiene products. They may be full of harmful substances, and that again, that's a huge area of focus. That's huge, and for women especially, that may aggravate super hardly any hormonal condition, for instance, or even liver conditions. They are really common nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we need to look after the things that we put on our skin, and also the nutrients that actually feed our skin. And in there, you have loads of stuff like from vitamin C and collagen, for instance, loads of protein. In the end, all of the structures in our body are made from proteins and amino acids.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also need to look at vitamin D. It's really important for immunity. And as I said, our skin is the barrier that we have against the environment. So we need to look after that barrier. And then you also have to take a look at your antioxidant status. So vitamin E as well, which is huge. It's very important as well for hormonal imbalances and to boost fertility in
Mm-hmm.
both male and female. So vitamin E is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy to be deficient in vitamin E following a Western diet, like kind of diet that we are
So what are
following every.
the things that we can eat that we can take on, throughout the holidays? Because vitamin A also it's tied to our energy levels, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So what can we take aside of or in addition to supplements? What are the is there any seasonal um product like you're gonna tell me granadina? You're gonna tell
Yeah, I was gonna say Granada, because pomegranates are huge sources of nutrients.
Mhm.
That's my philosophy actually, and you know that I try to look for the stuff that the nature is providing us at every specific time, and then those are nature's multivitamins. And then you don't have to spend huge amount of money in something that you don't know even what's inside the pill. So my recommendation would be to check at the stuff that is seasonal in the area that you're living. For instance, here now we have plenty of root vegetables, cabbages. They are amazing for liver detox. For instance, they have a lot of vitamin C and vitamin B9 folate, which is really important as well for fertility for women that are trying to get pregnant. That's
And
super
also
important.
for postpartum as well, right?
Say that again.
For postpartum, for people who have already like go.
Exactly. Pre and post. Yeah, that's really important. B9 is one of the most important vitamins. It's really good as well for neuronal development. Yeah, and for the brain. Yeah, for brain health.
So it's also good
And
for children who are studying or anybody who's studying.
yes, or even for people that are trained a lot, like vitamin B, all of the B vitamins, B1, B2, BT, B3, B9, B12, those are really important for the nervous system and for stress, especially people that tend to anxiety and depression, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Vitamin B and vitamin C, they are a must. They
So how do you know how much do you have to consume? Like when you go, because this is something that it always comes to me every single time I go to a health store. I'm like, I love everything, but I get overwhelmed with so many options, and then all these prices that they go. Perhaps I don't have to pay for the most expensive one. Perhaps the cheap one will just make it. So how do you pay attention to these things?
100%. Sometimes, we cannot get lost in the detail. It's much easier if you focus on the 80% that is going to provide with the biggest impact in your diet. Having said so, I would recommend to always follow the rainbow. I don't know if you've heard about the Eat the Rainbow.
That's what we were talking about yesterday with my kid, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a super powerful tool that I use a
So
lot
share,
in.
share, just in case our audience don't, are not
Of
familiar.
course, yeah. That basically means that you have to focus on choosing sources from every color of the rainbow every day. So every day you should aim to eat at least one portion of each color of the rainbow. So you eat one red vegetable, orange, yellow, black, purple, blue. It's in the same category, and then you also have to pick uh, brown one and green, of course. And if you want to go the extra mile, pick two of them, especially in times that you are a little bit stressed, or if you are training a lot. Strain and stress depletes B vitamins and vitamin C. So those are really important to consider. And vitamin C, for instance, is in most vegetables. For instance, parsley has loads of vitamin C,
Mm-hmm.
and then also you can find loads of polyphenols, antioxidants, and important things that we need. And if you eat at least those, then you should be covered.
And you're talking about portion. So for somebody who's like, oh my God, like I don't know what's a portion for a portion for Americans to be bigger than Europeans, should
Yeah.
we or could we say a portion is kind of like the size of your hand, of your palm, or how can we say it?
Oh, that's a super interesting question, Almu. Since there is a lot of confusion as well with portion sizes and what should I eat? I don't know if I'm eating enough and blah blah. So we said normally, like nutritionists like me, we are not weight centered. So we
Mm-hmm.
work with our hands and we work against the scale. For instance, we use other measures. So for us, for instance, you can say you can eat the palm of your hand for protein sources. So if you are eating a piece of chicken or a piece of fish or something like that, so you can take your hand as a reference, the palm of your hand. And then for carbohydrates, for instance, you take the whole fist of your hand. For fats, you take your thumb. And
Mm.
then for vegetables, there is no clear guideline because vegetables they are really different.
All out. No.
It's like exactly. So I always say 1 cup. That's a minimum. 1 cup each, and from there you can eat as much as you can.
But one of the things that I've learned in this process, so after my second pregnancy, wow, I had like a lot of aha moments in my life, like from digestive system because I had two C-section guys, and well, girls, and so I've started. I said myself that for the third one, I'm gonna go and tackle every single thing that I need to learn to be able to own it and not feel overwhelmed by doctors or people in the hospital who are telling me something about my weight or something about my whatever I'm doing. And so one thing that I've learned though is when we are very heavy or we have bigger stomachs, we shouldn't or yeah, let's use the word shouldn't. I don't like that because in trauma vocabulary is like we delete, we erase the word should. So I'm sure like in your not in your vocabulary too, but okay, so we could not eat a big amount of vegetables because they blow our stomachs instead of helping us um, shrink it in a sense. Um, I'm not that technical about it, but I would love
Yeah.
to hear your because it feels like everybody who is like, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to be healthy. Oh yeah, let's go a lot with vegetables, and then we're perhaps missing the science behind mixing nutrients, right, and mixing different type of elements.
Yeah, that's tricky as well. And there is a lot of misconception about this, because if you are eating non starchy vegetables, which
Mm-hmm.
are all green vegetables, red vegetables, blue vegetables, so cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower, tomatoes, celery, cucumber, asparagus, all those guys,
Mm-hmm.
then you can eat as much as you can because they barely contains calories, and your body actually needs a lot of energy to digest, metabolize, and process those foods. That's
Mm-hmm.
why normally you would say you could hear they are calorie negative or something like that. You could listen things like that. I don't like to use that vocabulary as well, just because that doesn't make sense at all. But the point is that um, when you are eating vegetables, you are eating nutrients. And that could apply, in my opinion, of course, and based on my experience, I couldn't say cut on of vegetables, cut off on vegetables. That doesn't make any sense because you are depriving your body from essential nutrients, vitamins, phytonutrients. Those are the things that your body needs. Maybe if you want to be mindful with your portions, then you may need to look at other things, like especially processed foods, things that that they contain loads of things that your body doesn't need. That would be my main focus. But if you are eating the whole thing, the real stuff, actually having a full stomach can be good, because that means that your stomach would have a delayed empty, and that is great, because that means that your blood glucose is not going to
Spike.
spike. Exactly. So your blood glucose is going to be stable. That means that translates into stable blood sugar levels. That also means that your metabolism is going to work under less pressure. So your body will be working in a better state. You will have better mood, better focus, most energy, and you will be eating as well less calories in the end if you are pursuing a weight loss process, because your stomach will be full for longer with fiber and phytonutrients. And when your body is receiving phytonutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals, and those things,
The
then
absorption is better.
exactly, because your body can sense the brain that you are receiving stuff. And this is super interesting, because when you are, for instance, you are eating a processed diet, and you are eating loads of sugar, trans fats, you're not eating any fiber at all, any vegetable, then you will have something really interesting, that despite the fact that you are incorporating enough calories, a signal would travel from your gut to your brain saying, hey, I don't have enough nutrients. Can you please trigger the hunger signal, even though you have eaten plenty of calories? Because you are not receiving what your body is asking. And that's why intuitive eating is so tricky, because under that signal, you need to be really in tune with your body and understand that you are eating calories, but you are not eating what your body is asking. And maybe you receive that signal, and then you are hungry again, and you go for the same stuff. So maybe you are not doing the right decision here. That's why in that case I would rather go for the other option, so fool yourself with vegetables, plenty of protein that keeps yourself as well fuller for longer. Protein is really satiating. It provides you with amino acids that they trigger serotonin, for instance. It's a precursor that makes you feel right in your brain, and that would create a nice loop. Instead of a toxic loop, it would create a really healthful and healthy loop.
I'm gonna, well, we're gonna say hi to Ray because he just left a comment saying, "Hey, hi," and I want to invite him if he has any questions because I know that he's in the process of losing weight and getting healthy and doing a lot of exercise and everything. So if you guys, especially Ray, you have any question, please pop it in, leave us a comment, and we'll be happy to get back to you. And now that you're getting so technical, I really want to ask you for the HPA.
Your favorite.
I was gonna read. I'm like, no, yes, because this is something that you've been talking about, and I'm like, wow, about it. And so, share with us, please, about it.
Yeah. But that's really interesting axis in our body, and it's the main regulator of our hormonal activity and also our stress signal. Actually, it's the one that it's managing, let's say, the stress response in the body, and it gets activated whenever we are stressed. So whenever our brain perceives a menace, a dangerous situation, this axis get activated. And then once it is activated, everything is on pause. Everything else is on pause. So all of the systems, the rest of the systems, they will all be paused. That's why when you are under stress, you may experience, for instance, hormonal disorders. Even your period can disappear when you are under stress, and that makes total sense because you need to deal with the menace, with the dangerous situation that is facing you. And in that scenario, your body won't think about reproducing, about having a baby. That would be crazy. It wouldn't have the resources to do so. So once this axis is action, everything else is going to be paused. Thyroid function, hormonal function, like sex hormone function, digestive system. So again, when you are dealing with something really stressful, you won't be thinking on eating anything. You will be thinking on, sorting the situation out as soon as possible. So you can go back to the relaxed mode, which is the relaxing mode is the one that your body likes. We have two types of let's say, nervous responses inside the body. We have the
Hmm.
parasympathetic one, the parasympathetic mode, and then we have the sympathetic mode. Parasympathetic is the one that our body likes to stay. It's the rest and digest mode, and that's where we are calm, we are fine, we don't have any trouble, we don't have any menace around, we are safe. And once we are safe, then our body can focus on reproductive function, on the digestive function, again, working on the thyroid, which is the one that is going to provide us with enough calories and so on, because it's the one that regulates our metabolism and so on. And when we are under stress, or when we are dealing with stressful situation, then the sympathetic mode is the one that is activated. And that is really important for this axis, because nowadays, we are running all day from one place to the other. We are, constantly under stress, work-related stress. We are having our children at home, and we are really, we don't know what to do. We are desperate. We are also dealing with a global pandemic situation. That's crazy. So
There's so
that's the
many
mode.
stressors now, yes. And
Mm-hmm.
this is something that, I wanted to share because there's a statement that I read yesterday. I'm like, this is so on point for today about the loyalties, the mindset. Because you say about being safe. How can we believe that we take control of our relationship with food and with our body so we
Hmm.
can guide on the process of being healthier, right? And reset whatever pathology, if it's possible, right, that we have, and tackle it down. And so the loyalties and the statement here is like, what we reject, we become. That's something that everybody knows. And the reality is that what we reject, we are that already. And so what we see on the external is something that we have internally, and we just reject it so badly that we don't want to accept it. And part of mindful eating is getting that, like, boys, I put in the comments, like, it's the meditation side of it, right? He's getting into, okay, this is who we are. What's our future? What is our future self telling us to move forward? How do we need to proceed to be able that we are in charge of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, based on everything that you are sharing with us today, and that the holidays are approaching, we discussed 5 feel good foods as a way to wrap up the live, that I would love for you to share and, discuss, and for everybody who's watching live to let us know, what do you like, and what is something that it makes you feel good, and what do you have to share about this statement of that, what we reject and we become.
Well, I cannot agree more with you here about the rejection, and I cannot agree with you more, to be honest. I definitely think that, yeah, what we reject is what we become. That's super clear. And then about the foods, it's super hard for me to pick stuff, and then let's try to stick to a few, because like, there are loads of feeling of mood lifters foods, and they also depend a lot from your own uh, taste, from your own, the way that you deal with yourself, just trying to wrap as well all the conversation that we have had, like the things that make you feel all right. And maybe a food is linked to a mood or to a past situation that you felt safe, that you felt, accompanied, or that you felt somehow good, maybe you are picking some foods because those foods take you to that moment.
Hmm.
And that is great as well, and we have to own those feelings as well. And mindful eating, for instance, is going to allow you to find those foods for you. But having said so as well, if you ask me to pick 5 foods, I would say chocolate. Dark chocolate is one of the best foods for, you know yeah, it's full of magnesium. Magnesium is a natural relaxer. It's really great for relaxing your mind, relaxing your muscles. So if you are tense, if you are having pain, muscle pain, which is really common when we are under stress, or when we are dealing, with the stress of the period, Christmas period. It's stressful for some people. They have a lot arranged. It's we tend to be like this and then pain appears. So magnesium rich food can help. Magnesium and B vitamins, and
Hmm.
also antioxidants. Chocolate has a lot of antioxidants and they fight oxidative stress. That's why it's really good as well whenever we are under stress.
Uh-huh. A good one is also sweet potato, the orange potato. It's
Exactly.
so good, especially when we're in our period. It, has so many good benefits.
Yeah, exactly. It has a lot of vitamin A. The sweet taste as well is really great to calm down our need for, yeah, for that sweet tooth. Also, butternut squash, which is now is in season. It's a great one as well. It, it has this sweet taste, plenty of fiber. We've talked a little about fiber. Fiber is great as well for keeping us full for longer, feel satiated. So that's great. And then blueberries, they are one of my faves. I tend to snack on blueberries all the time. They have loads of antioxidants as well. They are really great for oxidative stress. They have a mild, sweet taste, which is really great as well. I love them. I combine them with almost everything, salads in the morning, smoothies, whatever. So you can eat it in whichever way. Um, Oily fish, that is a really good one, Almu. Oily fish,
Tell us which ones. Which ones would you suggest?
yeah, that would depend on the area that you're based. For instance, in here we have plenty of salmon. We also have mackerel. You can find as well herrings, all those fish. That's great. It's full of protein, lean protein, essential fatty acids, omega 3s. They are really great to fight inflammation, which is one of the consequences of this stress and being under in a hurry all day. They are really good as well to calm our nervous system down.
Hmm.
Also for pain, like physical pain, and they are really great for any kind of inflammatory condition. So everything that ends in etis, for instance,
Hmm.
that is really great. Endometriosis as well is a really good one. It's really related to hormonal imbalances, women health, and oily fish would be great.
Hmm.
And I'm missing one. Am I?
What is the teas? We were talking about teas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for instance, cocoa leaf tea, cocoa husk tea,
Hmm.
that is a really great one. I don't know if if we have somebody over there, if they've tried. That's huge almond.
I
That
want
is my favorite. Please look for it and try it. It's so comforting, and it has loads of antioxidants as well. All the benefits of cocoa with the taste and the aroma of cocoa. She's really great for calming yourself down in the evening, when kids are in bed already and then you have 5 minutes to breathe and to relax. Nothing best than having a warm cup of cocoa husk tea, and that's the best.
then we can also add pomegranate on the tea.
Pomegranates are great. Yeah.
And you were also you were telling me the other day, setas,
Mushrooms.
mushrooms. Thank you. Those
Yeah.
are good too, right?
Mushrooms are great as well, and they are seasonal now. They are in season, and they have well. That's the only food in nature that can contain vitamin D,
Hmm.
which is a nice nutritional tip. And there is no other food in nature that contains vitamin D apart from the synthetic vitamin D that they add to some stuff like milk or so. And they are really great. They provide loads of minerals, and minerals are essential as well. Like they are, we will be talking about minerals because I love minerals, because they are like the helpers that our cells need in order to work properly. So you may have a really perfect diet, you would be doing all your exercise, sleeping properly, managing your stress, and blah blah blah. But if you don't have enough minerals, then you would be struggling and having some disorders or disbalances.
Totally. And one of the things that I don't know what I feel like. Do you hear me an echo? Because I hear an echo in my end. But if you
No,
don't hear that, that's amazing.
no,
I
I
don't
don't.
know. Maybe I'm hearing it. Um, just as a wrap up, because we are started the session or the live talking about mindful eating versus intuitive eating, and the part of ourselves that kind of like whispers rejection, because we were saying that when we reject, we already are and we become. um, it becomes kind of like the philosophy. It's adopted as ourselves, as a belief, as a philosophy, and so perhaps we can invite those who are watching to start thinking, what are we rejecting? What are we disliking in our life, and what is stopping us from creating this deeper connection with our body to feel that we are in control, that we are the driver of the machine and make things happen for us, right?
Yeah, that's super important. That's so powerful, and that is key. Like, if you own your life, your own decisions, if you are aware of who you are and what you need, and you're working towards that direction, then you're working on the right path. And that is super important when we are talking about our nutrition, because we tend to rely our nutrition on others, and that is a huge mistake. You are the only one that knows what you need, and we need to tune into ourselves again. And I would say that that's the best ending that we can have for this video. I would invite people that are listening to or watching this to connect just for a week, or even for a day if you don't have time to do it for a week. Try to connect with yourself, your needs, with your food, with your environment, with your body. Like, try to sense your body when you are sitting down, when you are awakening, when you are doing something. Feel your body, and that would be amazing information in return.
So guys, this lovely session came to the end, and I want to invite you guys to follow us, to continue leaving comments. Ray, you're a champion. I love reading your comment. We're gonna get back to you. This was so interesting that I didn't want to interrupt Christina when she was talking about things. But definitely, I like your diet. I mean, he was saying that he's eating bacon, eggs, rice, beans. It was really yeah, it was really great. Let me just bring it up again, since I don't know if you got to hear to read it. Like, I only ate eggs and bacon, fruits and vegetables, rice and beans, chicken or fish, almond, and only water. That sounds, good. As long as the portions are right and the timing is also good, that with exercise is, a killer.
I'd say so. Like, sometimes we have to find the thing that works for us. For some people, like, we try to be perfect and be perfect in every sense, like
Mhm.
huge variety, changing everything every day. Um, that may create a lot of stress. Maybe it's something that you cannot do it on the long term. So if you feel right, go for that. Perfect. If you feel like you want to add any other stuff, that's fine as well. As far as it's working for you, that's the most important thing.
Exactly. So with these guys, we're gonna be doing lives in Spanish on Fridays. So until Friday, we invited you to think about what you reject and what you dislike, and what is stopping you from getting that connection with your body, and how to practice mindful eating. And if you are practicing mindful eating, what are the roadblocks that you're facing? And next week on Tuesday, we're gonna be live again and talking about something good. You need to stay tuned. You need to join like our pages on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and join my group, my Facebook group, Mindful Growth with Amo Corazon, and stay tuned, because this is happening every week and this is only going to get better.
Cool.
Right?
Can't wait for that. Thank you so much, guys, for watching us, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.